Alright, man, I just think this whole story is weird. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, and the more that I think about it, the more I just get confused on why it would even happen in the first place, because it's not gonna fix anything. This is legitimately some of the most non-action that I've ever seen, and it's changing things that don't need to be changed in reality, and it's not like it's the most important thing in the world, right? I mean, we're not actually talking about, like, something severe or anything like that, but I mean, I think it's still worthy of being talked about because it's so ridiculous. There's no reason that any of this even has to happen, and I just don't really see the appeal behind it in the first place. I don't see who they are trying to appease with this action. I mean, who is going to be watching this cartoon who, first off, has really never seen it before, and second off, is going to be upset about the nature of the cartoon, right? We're talking about a cartoon that's been around since, I don't even know, like, that's what's crazy. It's been around easily for decades, right? I mean, it's probably pressing almost a century in the next few decades in how long it's been on television and being made and things like that. So, the cartoon that I'll be talking about today is Looney Tunes, one of the greatest cartoons of all time, obviously. It spawned so many iconic, characters and episodes and all kinds of different things, right? It's kind of one of the grandfathers of modern cartoons. Now, apparently they're making new ones, which is pretty cool, right? Like, they're actually making some new Looney Tunes. Most of the ones that I've ever seen, if not all of them, have been really old, so I guess it's pretty cool that they're bringing it back, right? I mean, they are pretty good cartoons, I will say that. But they're going to be missing one major component of these cartoons. So you probably know about Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam, okay? So you probably once again know who these characters are, especially if you've ever really watched Looney Tunes or any cartoon. Well, they will not be having guns in the launch of the show on HBO Max. So Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam are sporting different looks in the Looney Tunes cartoons that launched on the new streaming service HBO Max. While their outfits remain the same, both will no longer be carrying guns. So, once again, like, I don't even understand the appeal or the reasoning behind it, right? I mean, gun violence has, like, always existed. You know what I'm saying? And the core reason behind it isn't because people see, Looney Tunes have it in it and they're like, okay, well, I guess it's okay to do this now. Like, the issue is much more nuanced than that, and getting rid of guns out of a cartoon is not gonna make everyone just suddenly stop hurting one another. Like, it's just such a ridiculous action, if we're being honest. I mean, no one was really asking for this in the first place. Like, first off, I didn't even know that they were relaunching Looney Tunes, so that right there, I think, speaks enough, because I'm pretty in tune with everything going on. Maybe it's because I don't pay attention to most of the streaming services. Maybe that has something to do with it. But I mean, I've been online a lot, and I've never seen, like, any petitions or hashtags or anything like, oh my god, Elmer Fudd having his gun walking around out here in Looney Tunes is just horrible, we gotta get rid of him. Like, no one ever said that. No one has, I would say, any real issue with this. So I'm not even sure, like, what the reasoning behind the guns being taken out was. I don't know if it was maybe like a preemptive action so that they don't have to deal with people being mad about it. Because, I mean, I can kind of see that, obviously we live in a society now where you can't fucking do anything without somebody being upset or getting offended or, throwing a fit or trying to cancel something. That's just how it is today, but I mean, I don't know, am I too sane to think that this isn't a big deal and that people hopefully wouldn't really flip shit over it? I don't know, but the next part here I think really shows why this is such a stupid thing to do and why in reality it doesn't even make sense in the first place, because I guess maybe the idea behind taking the guns out is that the show's less violent and it's more watchable for kids and it won't encourage people to do bad things, something like that, right? Something completely ridiculous. But it says right here, the cartoons will still have plenty of sticks of Acme dynamite and cartoon violence, but Elmer Fudd will no longer carry his oversized hunting rifle and Sam won't have his pistols. We're not doing guns, executive producer and showrunner Pete Braungart said in an interview with the New York Times. But we can do cartoony violence, TNT, the Acme stuff. All of that was kind of grandfathered in. So, I mean, make it make sense to me, because I'm not really catching on here. Like what is gonna happen if, some kids see some guns in a cartoon? Like, is it gonna lead them down a long path of being like, oh my god, yes, I gotta get a gun and just start fucking everything up? No. I mean, guns were in cartoons back in, the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, probably even like the 70s. And, shit was a lot different back then. These mass tragedies weren't fucking normalized in society. But hey, guess what? They still had guns in their cartoons. So obviously that's not really the issue, and I don't think changing it's gonna fix anything. So, and it would be a lot less important. I mean, it's already not like the biggest deal, but it would be a lot less important if these elements weren't even like main focal points of the characters. I mean, Elmer Fudd, anytime you think about him, essentially is just him with his rifle hunting around, right? Getting made to look like a fucking clown. Yosemite Sam, anytime, at least that I think about him, he's got the pistols. Big red fucking mustache and eyebrows with the cowboy hat and the little revolvers, man. Like, I don't think of these characters in any other way. And it's just honestly kind of ridiculous that they're even being redesigned since it, once again, won't even do anything. Especially considering the fact, like, oh, well, so we can't do gun violence, right? They can't shoot guns because that's too bad. God forbid the children see that. But then we're allowed to show them basically people getting fucking blown up by sticks of TNT. Okay? That's okay to show. Because bombings haven't become almost normalized in society. That's not something people have to legitimately face. And cartoon violence is okay in all these other elements, like, here, we'll take a look at this. But, like, they're allowed to run around with scythes and all kinds of stuff. But no, they can't have a hunting rifle. And it's not even like the dude carries around, like, a minigun, or an AR-15, or an M4, or anything like that, right? Dude is literally just carrying a run-of-the-mill fucking hunting rifle. So like I said, I mean, they can do all this other cartoony violence. Like it even says right here, in a short titled Dynamite Dance, Fudd uses a scythe as he chases his nemesis Bugs Bunny. Bugs Bunny responds by using explosives to blow Fudd up multiple times. So essentially what they're saying is, no, Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam, they can't have their guns, right? Because that's too violent, that's too messed up. But it's okay to literally fucking blow somebody up several times with explosive weapons in this show. That is acceptable. And it's cool to have a scythe just running around, you know, trying to chop people's heads open. That's cool too. But hey, no hunting rifles. That's not acceptable. And another thing is like, if this is to protect the kids or whatever, like, let's be honest, what other fucking forms of media are most children not consuming that already have guns in them? Like, kids today are playing, you know, Warzone and Fortnite, and, you know, they have guns in them, they have bombs in them, people die in those. And the scientific conclusion has already come out that violent video games do not cause in real life violence. Every real reputable study and research ever done has essentially come to that conclusion. I mean, kids hear about shit with guns like in music and whatnot too, right? Like, do you think all kids are listening to like Beethoven and classical music? No, they're not. They're listening to fucking 6ix9ine talk about Blicky got the stiffy and fucking NBA Youngboy and whatnot, right? And the movies and stuff that have been relevant culturally in the United States in the last 10 years, holy shit, the amount of violence in those that kids have been seeing is crazy, right? But God forbid that we keep a cartoon relatively intact, right? And once again, not the biggest issue. I'm not going to sit here and lose sleep because of this, but I just think that it's maddening that this is even something that would be considered. Like, where are we as a country where, like, you can't have a fucking rifle in a cartoon because everyone would throw a fit, or people are afraid that that would cause a chain reaction of events or something? Like, this isn't something that was completely relevant and acceptable 50 years ago that didn't really lead to any upticks in anything. So in reality, I mean, we're just looking at changes that don't even make sense. I mean, even here, it says, no mention is made whether or not that the guns being removed was a response to gun violence or mass tragedies in the United States. So then what the fuck was this for? Because I have a feeling, at least, that if this is what it was about, right, that they would have just openly came out and said it. I mean, it makes the most sense to actually come out and state this. It makes the most sense to actually have this maybe as a reasoning because, obviously, of all the shit that's happened in the last 10 to 20 years here in the United States. I can understand if it's a reaction, of course, to how they think the public would react. But, I mean, honestly, who would have reacted this way? I mean, I say that, but then I would have also been surprised, or really not surprised, if people actually were mad about this. But I mean, we as a country gotta stop doing this stupid bullshit, man. Like, there's nothing that this would ever have hurt, right? Like, it doesn't lead to anything. What scientific evidence is there, right? What reputable study actually shows that consuming violent media makes you actually more violent to the point that you'll do something, right? And you might be like, oh, Optimus, it's just a children's cartoon, why do you care? You know, it's a kid's cartoon, why does it even matter? Because let's be honest, Looney Tunes is more than a children's cartoon at this point. First off, it's a cartoon that a grown adult can sit down and watch and have a good time. It's not one of these stupid shows airing on Nickelodeon and whatnot nowadays, where it's just complete garbage. This is a legendary cartoon. This influenced more than just the cartoon genre. I mean, it's such a staple of American culture at this point. I don't even know if it's just American culture. I mean, just entertainment culture in general. Looney Tunes is widely regarded as one of the best cartoons of all time, if not one of the best pieces of overall entertainment of all time. I mean, we're talking about something that has so much significance to the entertainment genres and to kind of our culture. And there's no reason for this to even be changed. It's being changed for the sake of a very vocal minority of people who may or may not even be upset by the fact that this shit is even going on. They don't even know. Because if they did, they would have made it well known in this article that they actually had an idea as to like, hey, people were going to be pissed. They didn't even have any visible outrage or anything, and they decided to do this. So either that says, A, it's a completely ridiculous thing to do, or B, we as a society have devolved so badly, essentially, that we can't even have a fucking rifle in a cartoon without people just losing their minds and trying to cancel the show and freak out and everything else. It says one or the other. Honestly, I think it could say both. Maybe it does, but just a very stupid decision, honestly. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @SubToOptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. Thank you to my channel members, your support helps my channel tremendously. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, taking guns out of the cartoons, and signing out.